Good morning, everybody. Welcome back there. So I'm Scott Selections here for Wednesday, October 20th. Before we get into today's play of the day, quick a recap what happened yesterday. We had a nice winner in the NBA with Giannis over 29.5 points at minus 115 on DraftKings. I know the line closed at around 30.5, but at the end of the day, Giannis scored 32. So whatever number you got, you won. So nice overall day. Looking for the winning day here on Wednesday. And for the play of the day, looking at the NBA once again, we're looking at a match between the Wizards and the Raptors taking place at around 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. For the play of the day, we like the Raptors minus 2.5 at minus 110 on DraftKings. Time of recording of 3:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Cover reasons why I like the Raptors in the spot. First of all, I know that when the title of the team is the Toronto Raptors, you automatically assume they're playing in Canada. However, that was not the case last year because of the COVID restrictions for traveling. So the Raptors had to play all of last season in Florida. Now they are finally able to return to Toronto. This will be the first true home game for the Raptors since February 28th of 2020, and I do think that will be a huge spark needed for this team, especially with such a low spread. I do think that this crowd will be really amped up for this one, which will provide the Raptors with a little bit of a boost, which they might need in this one. Now, I know you can't really buy much into the preseason results, but the Raptors did have two preseason games in Toronto, and they absolutely smashed their opponents, won by at least 15 points each time. Now, the Wizards last year were not exactly good on the road, losing record and all, but they do have a new coach in Wes Unseld Jr. Is he a good coach? I don't know. Nobody really knows. He's been an assistant for a couple of years, but now it's his first time as the head guy, and he's going up against Nick Nurse, and I do think there's a huge coaching mismatch, and Nurse, in my opinion, is a top three coach in the entire NBA. So I do think the Raptors, in addition to the home court advantage, will have a significant advantage on the sideline, as Nurse should be able to come up with some solid schemes that might leave Unseld a little bit overwhelmed in his first start or his first game as a head coach in his career. But looking at the Wizards, they have a couple of injuries they're dealing with. First of all, Bradley Beal. Now, Beal is most likely going to play. I'm not going to claim that he's out or anything, but he was dealing with a bit of a knee issue in the end of preseason. He got an X-ray on it. It came back negative, but I am curious if Washington will give him the full 38-minute workload, or maybe they might pull back on his minutes a little bit. If not, Beal still seems to be a little bit less than 100%. He should overall be fine, but I am kind of wondering how Washington's going to handle the knee issue in the first game of the season. So you might see a little bit of a min restriction, or maybe he'll just look a little bit off, because towards the end of the preseason with the knee, he really struggled, and I am curious how he's going to look in this spot. But Washington will also be without Thomas Bryant, who's still recovering from the knee injury last year, and Rui Hachimura is dealing with COVID protocol, so he will not be playing in this game either. Now, the Raptors are not 100% healthy. Siakam is still out. However, they were also supposed to be missing Chris Boucher for this matchup, but Boucher has been making some solid progress following the finger surgery that he had, and it does seem like, according to reports, he will play in this one. Now, I'm not sure how many minutes he's going to play, but Boucher is still a very solid player. We saw that last year, and I do think that him being in the lineup at all will definitely help out the rotations. But Toronto is a team that people are sleeping on. Of course, you lost Lowry during the offseason, and a lot of people are selling on this team. However, if you want to look at the overall roster, this team is actually pretty deep. They got Dragic at the starting point guard spot. They got Van Vliet. They got Anunoby, who's looked really, really good in preseason. You have Scotty Barnes, who's looked pretty good as a rookie as well, and Kem Birch. Now, if you also want to look at the bench, you have Malachi Flynn, who's a pretty solid scorer. They really have a bunch of guys who I do think can contribute, and I do think that the Wizards, even though they got a decent amount in return for Westbrook, they still lost Westbrook, and at the end of the day, they still now have to deal with Caldwell Pope and Kuzma, who might end up being okay in this situation, but I think we would agree, based on what we've seen from the last couple of years, they might be a little bit overrated, and I'm not sure how good they actually are. But at the end of the day, I do think Toronto is a feisty young bunch that is capable of really surprising teams, which is, according to their win total, why they should be better than the Wizards this season. But you're looking at Toronto with a pretty solid overall roster from top to bottom. They're going to be at home in Toronto for the first time in over a year, and you also have the better head coach. So I think the spread is a little bit too low. I think the Wizards' road struggles will continue. I think it'll be close, but I think the Raptors will eventually win this game by at least 5 points. The play that once again here for Wednesday, October 20th, is going to be on the Raptors, minus 2.5 at minus 110 on DraftKings. Bye, everyone.